Every single man that I've encountered is a liar, is a perv, and does not see women as humans.
Welcome to the Coach Craig Kenneth Show. I am your host, Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm your co-host, Coach Victoria.
And today we are going to be looking at a woman who says she's never met a good man.
Let's hear what she's got to say.
Well, she doesn't live on an island of 3 people, so it would be kind of hard to believe that in your entire life you've never met a decent man. And, you know, I saw this video and I was kind of shocked by how angry she appears to be at guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I understand that sometimes if you grow up in a home where you're mistreated, we can be really sensitive to being mistreated and hurt by what somebody's done to us. But I think it's on us to get to a point in our life where we realize that just because one or some people hurt us, that not everybody has those same intentions.
Right. And I think this is also part of an ongoing conversation of how these types of ideas can really divide people rather than finding ways to connect and understand each other and really work on some of the issues that are present.
Yeah. And, you know, when you're saying such a polarizing statement, it's going to really upset a lot of people, right? Because you're going to find that many of the people are going to say, well, then the common denominator
right
is you, right?
So we're going to talk about it because this person did get flamed in the comments.
Let's go ahead and play this one.
All right, let's see.
And I've never once met a good man. My entire life, going on almost 32 years, okay? I've never met one genuinely good man. Every single man I have encountered has done something absolutely horrific and minimized it.
Okay, let's pause that. That's a wild accusation. Okay, to say that every single man that she's known,
encountered,
every single one has done something horrific and minimized it.
What I think of is when you are repeatedly minimized and your voice is repeatedly squashed, what do people tend to do, right? They either silence their voice completely and just kind of hide in a shell, or you go more extreme, right? If somebody's not listening to your point, sometimes you go to the more extreme point for them to try to get it. And I could see her doing that in this.
Yeah.
You know, if she's saying that she felt minimized over and over and over and over and over again, I can see her coming to this really dramatic conclusion, really extreme conclusion to say, hey, do you guys get my point? I'm being mistreated here. I'm not being treated well here. So I could see her going to the extreme.
Yeah. But to say that every single man she's known has done something horrific and minimized it, I think that's probably untrue. I don't think that's probably an honest statement.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's probably the cashier at the gas station she went to earlier that day watching this video that's like, wait a minute.
Is that the waiter she had the week before?
Right.
He's like,
What? I don't remember doing anything horrific.
yeah.
I just put a little extra Parmesan on her pasta.
It was way too much Parmesan.
Horrific.
It was horrible, and you minimized it. But let's see. She's got more to say here.
All right, let's hear it.
Every single man that I've encountered is a liar, is a perv, and does not see women as humans.
Okay.
Whew.
Okay. All right. That is another bold, outrageous claim.
And you can see how extreme it is. Every man that she's encountered, right? So what we're imagining here is every single person that she's interacting with, every single man that she's interacting with,
is a liar, is a perv, and doesn't see women as human. Okay. So, okay, you want to say every single man is a liar? Okay, maybe every man has made a little white lie in their life, right? Every woman too. But a perv, okay, now we're getting a lot
more specific.
Yeah. But then to say they don't see women as human, every single man, not one man you have met has seen a woman as human. I mean, I think she's going so extreme here that it's going to be hard for anybody to take her seriously when you're making this bold of a claim.
Right. And you can see as the video goes on, she's becoming more and more specific, but I wonder exactly what she's talking about. It sounds like she's talking about men being very sexually forward. It sounds like she's talking about men being deceptive, maybe around sexual themes or for sex. I wonder what specifically, what action specifically she's talking about here, and more so who specifically she's talking about here.
It does feel like all of these claims are about men having sexual desires. That's the feeling that I get. That she's angry that men are sexual beings and that they have desires. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know if she was abused or not. My gut is that, or, you know, if I was talking to her, I would ask her if something like that happened to her, because she's so angry at all men.
Right. I would ask her what her experiences specifically have been with men and what specific instances have impacted her the most.
No.
That's what I would be curious to know about here.
But when you come across as so aggressive towards everybody, you're going to lose a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to tune out to what you have to say, and they're going to point out all the things that you're saying that are incorrect.
Well, I also wonder if, because she's had difficult experiences with men, that's made her a lot more hyper-vigilant and hyper-focused on those issues.
Sure.
And so you kind of go about life already with this belief or this preset of many men in my life have been hurtful, damaging to me. I'm going to seek that out in everybody else that I meet because it's probably going to happen to me again. And in order to protect myself, I'm going to just say that everybody can hurt me, has the potential to hurt me, to feel like I have some sense of control.
Yeah. Let's play a little bit more.
Every single man that I have ever encountered is so far up the patriarchy's booty butt. They genuinely think that it's okay for them to not grow past the mental age of 12. They genuinely think that having a job is all that they need to do. I have never met a good man. Not my father, I don't consider him a good man. My brothers, really not good men. My ex, baby daddy, not a good man. His dad, horrible man. His two brothers, one of them is halfway decent, but still don't consider him good. His sister's husband, really. All of my male family members, horrible people. All of my past male colleagues, all of my male instructors, professors.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Now we're jumping to college professors. How are you going to say that all of your college professors are pervs or liars or not seeing women as human? Like, it's such a huge leap to say that of all these people. How well do you know those people that you can just make these bold claims? Like, how well do you know your college professors?
Right. And I wonder really what her definition of good here.
Exactly.
If
her definition of good is they haven't given her $10 million.
Well, you know, I see here that the struggle is she's seeing flaws in people, you know, and everybody has flaws, right? I'm wondering exactly what she's talking about. In what ways have these people been damaging to her specifically? That's really what I want to know the more I watch this.
Yeah.
You could just see how more specific, yet at the same time more vague. She's just naming more people and saying that they're not good, but not explaining really why.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm curious about that.
Go back just a little bit more because I kind of cut her off.
Okay.
All of them are horrible. Horrible. There is no such thing as a good man. And if you think you're a good man, please explain why.
Okay. Very angry towards all men, clearly. And while, you know, probably some of those men that she mentioned do deserve some of the brunt of that.
I don't doubt that.
And probably abused her or hurt her. To say that it's all of them is not fair. That's just not fair to say everybody because you've had some people hurt you.
Right. Yeah, and I could see that that's being an overgeneralization, probably because of a lot of her experiences. And unfortunately, a lot of these things, they do run in circles. I know she had mentioned a lot of people in her family. We know about intergenerational trauma and things that kind of just stick within the family and issues that kind of get repeated over and over and over again. So we can see that and understand that. But to say every man across the entire planet is deceitful or wrong or
a pervert,
right.
Or that they're, you know, they don't see women as human.
It's a very bold claim.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people are really going to go after her in comments because she's kind of making these gross generalizations towards every man out there.
And I think, arguments like these aren't really helpful to what the real issues are. When we do talk about sexual abuse and how prevalent it is, we do talk a lot more about how many female victims there are. We talk less about, what percentage of men are doing the perpetrating, what amount of that perpetrating is going unseen. So I do think that those types of conversations are super important to have, right? But when we say all men, what happens? We all get defensive. Well, not me, right? And so now in the end, she kind of almost has this desperate plea of, explain to me, why are you good? You can almost see there's like this desperate kind of ask of like, show me. There's that part of her that wants to believe it, but just doesn't because she's been so hurt. So yeah, I know she's getting roasted in the comments, but I think there's a deeper conversation that could be more productive with what I think she might be trying to say.
Yeah. Well, she needs to do a better job of expressing that. Otherwise, people are going to continue to attack her because she is, going overboard on all of these comments. I mean, how could you possibly know that much about your college professor? You know what I mean? Or even some of these people that are outside of that smaller circle. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that you weren't mistreated by some men or that some men abused you. I would, by the level of anger you have, I would say, yeah, it probably did happen. But blaming everybody because of that isn't fair.
Right.
And it's going to make a lot of people upset.
And I do think she has a lot of healing to do. I think the sad part about this is mentalities like this cause you to focus a lot on the flaws, right? If you have this belief that all men are horrible people and deceitful, of course you're going to find that if you're trying to confirm that, right? You have that confirmation bias. I believe this thing, and every experience that I have after that is like a pursuit to confirm my belief. And I could see that happening over and over and over and over and over again for her. So I hope she does some healing in this. Not all men are bad. Are some men bad? Yeah, we need to have that conversation more in productive ways that can be helpful.
And it goes the same for women. Are some women bad? Are they hurtful or manipulative or abusive? Yes, of course. Human beings are flawed. And to just say that it's all men or all women, I don't think is fair. And I think there's so much divisiveness out there with social media that I think it's just drifting the sexes further apart instead of trying to understand each other better. And I think we're probably more fair in our approach in defending that she's probably been very seriously hurt or abused, and she's angry about that, and she's saying it in a way that is going to make people very upset. So she's got to find, if she wants to have a voice on the way that she's been hurt, she needs to do a better job of articulating it and not just blaming everybody.
Right. And there's a lot of people in the comments that are saying, oh, she's attracting this into her life and saying that she's the common denominator. That could be, victim blaming language here. Without the woohooiness of her magically attracting all these horrible men in her life, I do think there is something to be said about her focusing on this and harping on this and almost seeking this out, right? So I really hope that she's able to really look back, reflect, find the exception, find people that have been treating her well in her life. I'm not sure. I don't know what her life is like, but maybe there is one or two people in her life that have shown up, that she's forgetting here, that she's missing.
Well, I think she needs to really consider how she is evaluating what a good person or a good man is. And are women facing that same standards in her mind? Is she looking at women and judging them equally? Or is she just hyper-focusing on the areas that men make mistakes? And if a woman made that same mistake, maybe she wouldn't think anything of it.
That's a great point.
We want to know what you think. What do you guys think about what she had to say? Leave a comment.
Yeah.
All right. So I think this is a good discussion, and it's interesting to see when people have social media and put their opinions out there that we can talk about it. But leave a comment, let us know, and maybe we'll cover this again in the future.
Right. I think this opens up a really big conversation. Moral ambiguity. We are flawed human beings. I don't know if either of us would come up as good in her criteria.
I'm not even going to try. Believe me, I have no interest in even trying. Sorry.
You're damned from the start.
I don't even know what her criteria is. Maybe it is you have to give me $10 million and I'm not going to. So
You're not going to do that?
no, I'm not. No.
I knew you weren't good.
Yeah. You're bad too.
How much do I have to pay?
I don't know. We have to find that out. To be continued.
Oh, man.
All right. So hopefully you've enjoyed this discussion. Let us know in the comments. Of course, if you'd like to talk with us personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
And if you are interested in submitting a video for us to talk about, you can do that on the website and send us a link to what you'd like us to react to or cover in the future.
Yeah, please do.
That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.